Good day and welcome to another critique session on AR Tutor. And today we're going to look at another still life composition that was submitted by another student for an assessment. And we're going to go through and see what are some of the strong points and weak points in this particular composition. Now, students, I often say to you when you're submitting work, take the time to edit the photograph. Now, this composition is not a sideways composition. It's not an horizontal composition. It's a vertical composition. And the same process that I'm going through, come into the photo editor, you click on rotate. It is that simple. Before you send the photograph, you move to the other one. Here, I always say when you're submitting your work, because these works will be used for in virtual exhibition, come down and crop out what you don't need. Or if you have problem cropping, pay attention to the way you're taking the photograph in the first place so that you don't have to crop anything out. If you pay attention to the way you're taking the photograph, and let me know that if you feel that after I would have made these edits, if it would have altered anything in the composition. Based on what I see, all it would have done is improve the quality of the picture. And that's why I would have emphasized that. Please, that we don't need to be dealing with this again. That's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Again, we got to go and we got to edit. And let me know if there's anything that I would have done here that takes away. And as far as I'm concerned, we could come to the back there because that's not needed. From the final composition. And this is where we're going to spend most of our time. Now, this here is the assignment that would have asked students to produce a still life composition viewing the objects from above eye level. And you should have at least 4 objects as part of your composition. So I'm going to look at what you have in terms of numbers. And you would have achieved that. I get the sense when I look at what you're doing that it is somewhat from above eye level, from below eye level. But when I look at the construction of your cylindrical objects, when I look at the construction of your cylindrical objects, you have problems. One of the characteristics of cylindrical objects is that whatever is above is also below. Now this looks like one of those seasoning salt containers. The ellipse below is going to mirror the ellipse above. But if we follow the curve of this ellipse and we draw a dividing line down here, and I'm hoping you will follow the course of the mouse because I don't have the software to do this stuff there. When we come to the top, are we having that same steepness? No, that's way less. Even worse, when you come here, it's almost like it's disappearing. You have problems with construction. This is not symmetrically balanced either. Because if I were to draw a dividing axis line or a dividing line down the center, you can clearly see that something is happening on this side that is not happening on that side. So it's twisted on this side. Those are basic construction when it comes to cylindrical objects. Those are basic principles of construction when it comes to cylindrical objects. So right off the bat, you have some problems with construction. I can see that. If we go to the other objects that are part of the composition, well, these spherical objects, it's not going to be an issue. But these square and rectangular objects, I can see you having some problems here too. Which means that you got to spend a whole lot of time understanding the nature and characteristics of the objects that you're drawing and how you go about constructing them to represent them effectively. That's the first problem you have, and that's one of the areas that you're going to have to spend some time in. Looking at your finished composition from a shaded standpoint, It leaves a lot to be desired. Any good composition, drawing still life composition will have foreground, middle ground, which is where your objects are, and your background, which is where the fabric is. Objects that are closest to you would have more detail, both in terms of how they're constructed and both in terms of how you use your values, whether it's a dark value, a shadow value, or a light value. But yet still, when I look at the back, that value is so strong that it's fighting with whatever is going on in the back here and whatever is happening in front. And I really cannot tell the color of the fabric because of how you would have shaded it. So I don't know what's the true color of the fabric. Am I able to differentiate where the light is coming from too? No, not really. Because when I look at your objects, I'm seeing you're showing a cast shadow from this cylindrical object here, which is suggesting that the light is coming from the left side. But if the light is coming from the left side, then therefore you're going to have a cast shadow from this object and from this object, and you're going to have cast shadow with these objects here. That's going to come towards that side, and I'm not seeing that. So you have some major problems there with shading too. I would have sent a number of resources, or I would have posted a number of resources on the stream in the classroom. And every time I post resources, I would say to students, study the videos. What I'm seeing here at an advanced drawing level doesn't represent you putting in the requisite study to understand the basic fundamentals of still life drawing. You got a problem with construction. You got a problem with shading. And these are simple objects. These are not complicated objects. So there's a whole lot that you're going to have to go back to the drawing table and work on. Yes, I see that you're getting a little more confidence with your cross-hatching shading technique, but you still got a lot of work to do with that too. What are these? Where's the light and dark? Where's the light, dark, and shadow? And I always say to students, whenever you're shading, when you start, after you finish your construction phase and you ensure that the objects are constructed properly, and I'm going to go back to your first stage. There's no need for you to have these dark outlines. If this is your sketching stage, there's no need for these dark contour lines. Let your lines be more expressive. When you get to this third stage and you start thinking of shading, you want to identify 3 basic tones to start with. Your areas of light, your areas of dark, and your areas of shadow. In order to identify those, you've got to find out where the light is coming from. I would have posted videos on the stream that would have outlined all of these things. I remember one video spoke about using a light box where you get to control the light more effectively. I remember one video talking about the way you organize the objects in your composition, whether it's an L shape, whether it's a rectangular shape, whether it's a triangular shape, based on how you organize the object. All of those things would have been sent to you to assist you so that when this assignment was given, you would have been equipped already with the information for you to function effectively in the execution of this assignment. You didn't do that because you did not utilize the videos effectively, if you utilize the videos at all. I'm going to take the liberty of going out on a limb and say that. Why am I being that bold by saying that you didn't utilize the videos? Because I'm seeing the evidence in front of me. When you know better, you do better. At a very basic level. And to me, this is disappointing in the sense that I would have gone through, I would have done the research, I would have done the heavy lifting, so to speak. I would have handpicked videos with specific information to assist you to address all of these fundamental problems. And then you submit a final piece like this to me with these here. What is this line for? What's the function of this line? Is it needed? Does it enhance the composition? Those are decisions that you have to make when you're putting your stuff together in terms of composition. At the construction and composition stage where you're laying out everything, those are problem areas, problem solving issues that you're supposed to work with. This seemed to be the edge of the table, but then it's not consistent because you stop all of a sudden. So I don't know what's happening there. So you're not using your elements and principles effectively to express to us what is going on in your composition. And this here is saying to me that you did not put the necessary work in. You didn't take the time to study the video, so that when you come into work now, there's a lot of things that you don't know. So you're basically shooting in the dark. This is very disappointing. You're going to have to go back. You're going to have to study those videos. And you're going to have to resubmit this here, because this here is very poor. This is very poor. Note the points that I would have made in concluding. I want you to know the points that I would have made. And I need you to recognize the seriousness in terms of information given in the group. I've always said that the information is not given for style. It's not for to waste of time. Everything that I post on in Google Classroom, you will be tested on when I'm giving you homework assignments. And the fact that you can't come up to scratch tells me that you didn't take the time to study anything. And if you continue like this, it's going to hurt you in the long run in terms of your grades. So the choice is yours. Nonetheless, I thank you for sharing. And I hope you take this information in a constructive way in which you're supposed to take it. Go back, do your investigation, and you need to resubmit this.